Hello, sinners, simmers, girls, gays, and days, and welcome to the start of my 100 Baby Challenge. Yes, I know what you're thinking. This is an original challenge made by me. I'll have to get you the rules because it's something that I just invented myself, pulled out of thin air. And no, as a matter of fact, you are not going to get to see my face today because it has been a time. It has been a couple of months. And maybe it's been like this for everyone, but I feel like, and I know nobody could have warned me about this in advance, that this is completely unexpected. But did you know that working full-time, going to grad school full-time, and planning a wedding all in the same span of let's say 3 or 4 months is just, some may say a touch overwhelming, doesn't leave you with a whole lot of free time. Well, I learned that lesson the hard way. And I was like, you know what I don't have time for? The Sims. You know what I even have less time for is editing videos. Anyway, I had though this not rainbow baby challenge, 100 baby challenge in my head that I've wanted to do it for forever. I've always wanted to start it, and it's a marathon, not a sprint, but I was in no place to start a marathon whenever I first started recording for this. Anytime I got on The Sims, it was just because I wanted an escapism project, not to actually have to work at something like raising children. So I made a Sim. Her name is Madilyn McBaby, for obvious reasons. However, the cast footage of me making Madilyn McBaby is destroyed. And this is something that I did not realize until tonight, the day of our Lord, the 26th of April, 2022, because I have not even tried to see if that footage would load. It's gone. It's in the ether. It's in the, can't process it because the file's probably been corrupted because you haven't looked at it in over a month type of ether. I don't know where it is. Point is, I had recorded making her and then building her a little tiny home because you gain skills so fast and relationships so fast on a tiny home. Honest to God, they are overpowered. If you think about what it's like playing The Sims in a tiny home versus what it's like playing in a non-tiny home, an untiny home, a regular-sized home, it's a different game. The skill gain is just unreal. And as you know, with the 100 Baby Challenge, or you may not know because this is your first introduction to it. If it is your first introduction to it, I was lying. I did not invent this. I will leave a link in the description to the rules. But one of the big rules is when you can age up the children because you're trying to have 100 of them, right? And obviously that would be like a lot of time if you're just sitting there waiting to age up Sims naturally. And it's going to be a lot of time regardless. But with the 100 Baby Challenge rules proper, you get to age them up after they've reached certain milestones, i.e. they're level 3 in all of their toddler skills, where they've reached an A in school. That is child and teenager. Both of those require skill gains. So my thought was, let's start in a tiny house, get some plants going that we can sell, because you also can't have a job that works outside the home as like the matriarch, the mom, right? So my thought is, let's garden, let's put in an easel, let's do knitting. I think I had her pick the knitting aspiration as her aspiration. Honestly, it was so long ago that I made her that I can't really remember. And while I could just go back and check what her traits are and everything, I am too lazy for that. And I just finished grad school this morning, so I'm not going to interrupt my lovely grad school night to figure out my past mistakes. Those are behind me now. I'm focusing on the future. We're moving ahead. Do I have footage of me building the tiny home? Then I'm going to use the footage of me building the tiny home. Anywho, so we need a lot of skill gain. So I thought, let's start in a tiny house. We need a lot of relationship gain because I got to, make moves on some men and some women who can have babies because I got to have 100 of them. So they all have to come from different parents, barring any, twins or triplets. So I think you can see where a tiny home would be useful. Obviously, at some point, we're going to have babies is the goal. So the tiny home may have to be upgraded, let's say, to a micro home or a small home. We might even have to do it just a regular home at some point. But I started with a tiny home. And let me preface this. I am no builder. I am not even kind of a builder. I'm not even like a wannabe builder. I have been playing since The Sims 1 originally came out. I think I was 6 or 7 years old whenever I first got my hands on the game. I was not in a space to be designing houses. I was no future architect. I did not have that just in my blood, ready to foist it onto The Sims. I only played in pre-made houses and or just boxes. Probably they didn't even have roofs. I honest to God can't even remember what I was doing in The Sims at that age besides just probably flailing around. And then, Sims 2 came out. I played Sims 2. Sims 3 came out. I played Sims 3. Sims 4 came out. I did not play Sims 4. I said, she is not the game for me. And I completely ignored it for years until randomly one day I was bored, upset, needed new content, looked back at The Sims 4. It was more of the game that I had envisioned when I envisioned The Sims 4 as a young Sims 3 player. And I said, you know what? I'm in. And that was, my first foray into having to build stuff. Because while EA has always provided us with some truly interesting builds, I did not care nearly enough to make builds my own when I was playing in anything in The Sims 4. But the level of build in The Sims 4 that EA provided me with, and just the sheer talent of what was provided on the gallery, really spurred an instinct in me of, I wouldn't call it creativity, I would call it competition. I would say, oh my goodness, for years, people have been doing, The Sims in building and probably learned all these tricks. And I am well behind because I don't play for the building. I play for the story. The story is my bread and butter. The story is where I am known to succeed. That is my happy space, my safe space. But barring some really, different challenges, you need a place to put your Sims for the story. They don't just exist outside of time and space, and they need a place to rest their heads, whether that be on a park bench or in a tiny home. It's not for me to say, but I thought if we're going to be raising 100 children, they should probably have a roof over their heads. And in the 100 baby challenge, you are allowed to start with the 20,000 that they give you. And I moved us into the wedding pack in April, the most controversial pack of my time playing The Sims. As I understand it, my first pet stuff was also controversial. I was not an avid Sims 4 player at that time. I was still in The Sims 3. And back 2, for all its controversy, kind of fell off the face of the earth pretty easily, pretty uneventfully, except for James Turner, I suppose. But the wedding pack stuff, man, I feel like we got just a lot of controversy coming out of there. And I haven't even started playing it. The pack came out in February, and yes, I am one of those people who gave my hard-earned money to EA for the unfinished experience of the wedding pack. But that's mostly because I don't care about the weddings in The Sims as much as I care about having a new world to build in. I can download all the CC I want for hair and clothes and whatever. I cannot download a new world in The Sims. And this was something I just realized yesterday, was that this pack is set in Italy. Or, it says the Mediterranean. I had no idea. I really don't know where I thought it was set after watching reviews and stuff, but Italy would have been my last guess. And this is especially bad, right? Because my husband, born in Sicily, raised in Italy, is in Italy now. He and I own a house together in the south of Italy. It's not as though I am unfamiliar with the Italian language, with Italian culture, with the romance that Italy provides and could provide to a wedding pack. My wedding is in exactly a month from today in Italy. So of all places for them to put a wedding theme pack that I would notice where it is, one would think Italy. But it wasn't until I was playing yesterday and I looked at all the names of the lots to send Madilyn out on an expedition to find a man that I realized the names of the lots are in Italian. Now the people themselves, they don't have Italian names. And I will be stereotypical here. That is unusual. Everyone I know who's Italian has a very Italian name, and my husband himself will not let any future children of ours, I say let as though like he is the I pull all the strings kind of dude. No, that's not him, but he really would like for our children to have traditional Italian names, and it's rare that I meet someone who is Italian who doesn't have a traditional Italian name, if that's ever happened at all. I mean, it's obviously not a hard and fast rule, but I think that's why it didn't tip me off as early. But maybe they're all on vacation here, like, somewhat permanently. I mean, that's what I'm doing, right? So I guess I'm judging myself. So joke is on me there, right? So yeah, it's in Italy. I own a house in Italy, and I did not notice. So I don't know if that's on me or if maybe it just doesn't look Italian to me. And then it would be on EA. So then I have someone else to blame, which, as we all know, would make everything just a whole lot better for me. But regardless, I had not played in this world. And now, knowing that it is Italy, I have no excuse for my actions. I definitely have built my sim self and my sim husband too many times to count. We've had millions of sim families, and I've never known like exactly which world to put them in. Like, obviously Oasis Springs has the architecture kind of down in a sense. I could put us like on the beach in Sulani, since we live, near the coast, but nothing ever felt right. Here is where I could put our house and our family, and it be a little bit more realistic as far as building you and your husband in The Sims can go. So anyway, I decided to put the 100 baby challenge here just because I wanted to see the world and explore the world. I don't know. The whole reason I bought the pack was for the world, not for the wedding system, not for the items. Although I did try and use some of the items like in this build just out of like, I guess I paid money for them, so I guess I should use them, like that big window. And I think it's nice. I mean, again, I'm not a builder. I am a game player. So that it was not my intention to be like showing off items from this pack, obviously. Anywho, I also just already went ahead and put in toys for the first baby, because here's my thing, right? I could spend $20,000 making a starter home for Madilyn that would have everything she needs to succeed, be regular size, whatever, but we're building a tiny home. And in my experience, since we've already got the extra money that we're not using on building stuff, we probably, I'm going to say hopefully, but also not hopefully in the sense that we get pregnant and have a child soon enough that we haven't had time to build up money through gardening or knitting or painting or whatever. So we're running low on funds, so we want to make sure that we have stuff at least for the baby to like sleep and get skills up. Not hopefully in that, like, if there's a random event that would cause us to have the money, then I would take it. Because I think end up spending just all the money that we have. Because once you're done with the inside, it's like, well, we got to start with the outside. And I wanted to make sure Madilyn had plenty of places to try for a baby, because that's the whole thing, right? The whole reason we are here is to try for a babaloo. You know what I mean? So it doesn't do, to just have the bed or just have the shower or just have the hot tub. And you could look at me and you could say, Renee, do we need a hot tub out of all of the things in this world for us to have? And I could be honest with you and be like, no. But I could also be honest with you and be like, would it get boring to just have, 3 or 4 spots to try for baby when you could also add a hot tub? I don't know. If it was me, I'd want a hot tub. Husband, if you're watching this, can we invest in a hot tub in our house in Italy? Now that I think about it, though, it is kind of weird because I didn't realize that this house, like, kind of is a path. Like, right now, on the left side of the house, Sims just walk by there to get to their destinations all of the time. I only learned this when I was playing, but there's constantly Sims there, and that's out where I put the hot tub. So if you were like, oh, let's, like try for baby in the hot tub, you've just got like a constant stream of neighbors like walking past you, and that it's not feasible, is it? It's not plausible. It's not possible. So in hindsight, was the hot tub a waste of money? I'm not going to say yes because I haven't tried it yet, but I'm also not going to say no because I just got to be realistic with myself, Also, the house is kind of like bare because I wanted to make sure that we had money for like other stuff, outside decor. I wanted to build a greenhouse specifically, which is what I'm watching on the screen now. I don't know if you're seeing it now, but I really wanted an outdoor space, which is coincidentally much larger than the house that they live in. But this way they could have the plants in there, and the plants grow all year round if they're underneath the roof. And it doesn't count to the tiles on your like mini home or whatever if you delete the walls and the floor after you're done. But you need them to like put the roof and stuff. But that way the plants grow all year round, which means that they don't go out of season, and we will have the garden functioning to give us money all year round. And it's kind of fitting, you're like growing your little crops like in Italy, like in your little garden with your like little small home. I don't know, if I'd known it was Italy, I probably would have planned out the plants better too, but it's fine. These are problems for a later Renee who is cognizant of her surroundings and takes in what's going on around her, because this is not that Renee. This Renee was just blindly building away. It's even Via Romanza, the romance street, and I just completely missed that. And you could tell I'm looking up there in the top left because I'm looking at the micro home. So, joke is on me. It is on me. But I did give her a little pee-pee woo-woo bush. The only thing she's used it for so far, since she has like a toilet and everything, was to vomit. So, I guess like we've all been there vomiting outside in the bushes, but like more power to her. At least she had a reason because she was pregnant. Spoiler alert. Madilyn mcbaby does have a little mcbaby, a McNugget, if you will. And so she had more of a reason than probably I do. But yeah, here you can see I'll start to place the hot tub. I don't realize that like sandy area is a walkway. I kind of just thought we were a little bit secluded here, back from the road. The road is in front of the house, and I kind of thought the right area was like a little bit more private. But again, just joke is on me. And I also do some landscaping. I only have enough money to landscape the front and sides of the house, not the back, and I don't have any money to like put stuff back there because like we start getting low on funds. But at least the front and side look good. I guess if you're walking the opposite direction on the path, like coming up from the back of the house, you'd be like, okay, I see where you ran out of money. But to the majority, that's a strong word, to some people who are just walking by, the house probably looks finished. So, you win some, you lose some. Didn't realize how much I was really losing this day, but I learned eventually from my errors. But I am going to repeat them, just so everyone's aware. But, in the end, like, it does turn out to be a cute little house. So while I'm landscaping, I'm just going to talk about other random stuff that's going on. So I've mentioned this, my wedding, right? Sicily, May 2022. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be amazing. However, I do not know who has planned a wedding. It is like literally one of the most stressful things I've ever gone through. And not even because my husband nor I have like any super strong like opinions or like needs or any sort of case that would make it more difficult than normal. I just think like wedding planning as a whole, if you are someone who gets overwhelmed by decisions, like somebody who says, just show me what you have and, we'll go from there. Then if you're someone who's, a bit more go with the flow, does not want to be the decision person, does not like when you have too many options, this wedding will be your idea of a personal hell, or any wedding, because the wedding industry itself is it's just flooded with decisions and options And okay, you can go with this lighting company or that lighting company. And then, okay, fine, I'll go with this one. Okay, great. Well, they have these packages. Do you want the big twinkly lights, the small twinkly lights? Do you want the sparklers? Do you want the lights at the bottom of the floor? Because if so, we can make you different packages for each of them. And the other people are going to make you different packages too. And then what do you want to do about the flowers? Do you want 1 bouquet, 7 bouquets? What size do you want everything? Do you want, for your cake, you can have like one of 17 different options. And then, okay, you want it to be in this theme for all your catering stuff. That's great. Do you want this type of utensil or this type of utensil or this glass? And at a certain point, you're just like, oh my God, can we narrow it down to 3? And I'll tell you which one I like best, because I cannot handle 100 options. Because they multiply, right? If you're like, okay, if I go with this lighting company, then I'm limited to these lights at this time, and we'll be outside here, and with the cake and the photographer, blah, blah, blah. And all the decisions multiply. Anyway, it's been a whole thing. And this wedding pack, I feel, honest to God, everyone's like kind of giving it, shit for being like, oh man, it doesn't work. It's really buggy. Real life weddings are buggy. Real life weddings don't work, quote unquote. They are stressful and difficult for everyone but your guests, which is great. I'm happy my guests are going to have a good time, hopefully. But real life weddings are not easy. They are not like, oh, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, everyone sits down where they're supposed to, and all of the decisions were super easy to make, and getting everyone together was super easy, and finding all of your bridesmaids was super easy, and I'm like the first one in my friend group to get married, so nobody has kids to be like a flower pal or a ring bearer, and it's all stressful, lemon stressful. So honest to God, this is the first taste of realism that The Sims 4 has given me in some time, and I'm grateful for it, not everyone can say that. Anyway, the build is coming to a close now. I don't think I forgot anything. I hope not, but I took a bunch of screenshots and I'll show you guys the screenshots now. Okay, gotta go now. Thanks for watching. Love you all. Bye.